This presentation in no way constitutes financial advice. It is only for information purposes. The first part of this presentation is for those who want a safe, almost no risk place to park their cash. First, I want to talk about savings accounts versus high yield savings accounts. I will touch on some of the key aspects of each of these types of accounts. Both of these are FDIC insured up to $250,000. If you happen to have more than $250,000 that you want to place in a bank, you should consider placing those additional funds in additional bank or banks. Savings banks are traditionally brick and mortar type of facilities. High yield savings accounts are generally online banks, not necessarily, but generally speaking. High yield savings accounts may require a minimum balance. High yield savings accounts, they generally offer higher interest rates. Other safe options are CDs and treasuries. CDs meaning certificates of deposit. CDs pay a stated amount of interest for a specific period. CDs as well are FDIC insured up to $250,000 as they are issued by banks. Treasuries are issued by the U.S. Department of Treasury, which are backed by the U.S. government. One additional benefit of treasuries is that they are state tax exempt. Both of these options are intended to be held until maturity. Again, these options I have just mentioned are primarily for safety and security. If you are the type of person who literally doesn't want to assume any risk, these are some of your better or best options. To give you an idea of the rates of the various options I have just discussed, savings rates are very low. They are somewhere in the range of 0.4%. High yield savings rates I've seen somewhere in the neighborhood of 3.5 to 4%. CDs are up to 4%. Treasury rates are around just under 4% to around 4%. At best, as you can see, these options will slightly exceed the inflationary rate. These are not great options for long-term investing. These are intended for those who literally don't want to assume any risk, or for setting up emergency funds or accounts for paying your bills, those types of things. But for long-term investing, again, these are not your best options. Some better options for investing I will touch on next. An S&P 500 ETF, which stands for Exchange Traded Fund. So if you don't want to take on the challenge of picking individual stocks, an S&P 500 fund is a good option. This fund tracks the performance of the 500 largest U.S. companies. A couple of options that are S&P 500 based is SPY and VOO, which is a Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. Over a period of decades, the S&P 500 on average has returned a rate of approximately 10%. As you can see, that far exceeds those much safer options. So going further into the SPY and VOO, as you can see, year to date, over the past 3 years and over the last 5 years, those are the rates of returns over those periods of time. As you can see, they both have behaved very similarly. The main difference between the two are in some of the expense ratios are slightly different, and their portfolio allocation is very slightly different as well. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is that these are stock-based ETFs, so performance is not guaranteed. So in summary, there is a place for the safer options, as I had mentioned, a place to park cash to pay your bills and set up emergency funds. And there's also a place for investing. You want a place for investing for long-term growth. And of course, you want to beat inflation. And at the end of this, we all want to enjoy our lives. So thank you again for your time, and please subscribe to my channel and or share as well. And again, thank you for your viewing.